The Pawn Stars is a popular TV show aired on the History Channel. It shows pawnbrokers negotiating with customers about buying items or selling items. Sometimes the customers get less than what they were hoping for, but often it is the other way around and they end up getting more money than expected. In today's video, we are going to show you some Pawn Stars deals that were a big deal. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. After being told to invest by his father, one man decided to buy around 210 pounds of silver and coins and bars before bringing it to the gold and silver pawn shop around 12 years later.
I've never seen you get up from your desk that quick.
I always get up, son.
Not generally very
Move your
quick.
hand.
Of course, Rick checked the coins and bars thoroughly, drilling holes into the bars to see if they are really all silver and not just another metal coated in silver. Jeff, the owner, had never even thought about the possibility of the bars not being pure silver, and was relieved to hear that everything was in order and his investment didn't turn out to be a mistake. After weighing everything, Rick did some calculations and the two agreed on the insane sum of $111,000, which was a lot more than Jeff had initially paid, more than a decade earlier. It made this one of the biggest payouts in Pawn Stars history.
I'm gonna take one of these, Rick.
No, you're not.
After hearing that an original Andy Warhol had just sold for $6 million, Paul decided to take his not one, but 4 original Warhol paintings to the gold and silver pawn shop to see if he could get a good deal. He asked for $8,000 for each of the pieces, but Rick quickly noticed some water damage and warned Paul that would affect the value. He then called in his expert to check the paintings out, and Brett confirmed their authenticity and explained that they were probably early works in the 1950s. Due to their water damage only being in the edges and not affecting the compositions themselves, the expert added that they would probably sell for around 10 grand at auction, with 2 of them even going for as much as $15,000 each. Based on what he had heard and keeping in mind the commission fee he would have to pay at auction, Rick decided to offer $20,000 for all 4 paintings, but Paul pointed out that the fairy and the cherub were worth $30,000. He eventually struck a deal with Rick for $27,000 and walked away happy, saying that it was more than he expected to get. In Season 11 of Pawn Stars, a customer came to the shop with a copy of the Treaty of Amity, Commerce, and Navigation, which is also known as Jay's Treaty. What made this copy so special, however, was the fact that it had belonged to Thomas Jefferson, because he sold his original library to the Library of Congress. Any of his personal books are rather rare to find anywhere else. But the customer's great-great-grandfather had worked in the Senate when Jefferson died, and bid at the estate auction in Jefferson's retirement library, where he purchased the book for just 15 cents. Rick called an expert in, who confirmed that the book was indeed Jefferson's personal copy that contained his handwriting as well as his unique way of marking off his books. Because Jefferson is very popular among autograph collectors, the expert estimated the value of the copy to be around $75,000. After some haggling, Rick and his customer struck a deal at $50,000, which would have surely made the great-grandfather very happy.
50. It's gotta be 50.
Oh my God.
I cannot go below 50.
Deal.
Sold.
In the Season 7 episode, Close But No Cigar, a man walked into the pawn shop claiming he had a cigar box that was John F. Kennedy's, and while he was president between 1961 and 1963, which still held several cigars. It is a known fact that Press Secretary Pierre Salinger bought 1,200 Cuban cigars for JFK the day before he signed the Cuban embargo, and so the seller was looking to get $95,000 for the box and its remaining cigars. However, after mentioning that he owns a private museum and is looking for some quick cash to move to a bigger facility, Eric Gabarick a small advantage in the following negotiation. Rick's initial offer was just $50,000, and even though Eric was hesitant to lower his price too much, they eventually struck a deal at just $60,000, of which he would get one half in cash right away and the other half after some paperwork. Although it might not have been the worst deal ever made in the show, it is never smart to admit that you were looking for some quick cash when haggling with the tough bargainers from the gold and silver pawn shop. After his grandmother passed away, one man was cleaning out the old one's belongings when he came across a gold bar hidden away in a box. Not knowing how much it was worth, he decided to take it to the pawn stores to find out more. Simply melting the gold bar down would have brought the man $24,000. However, after an expert confirmed that the gold bar was actually from the 1554 Spanish shipwreck of Padre Island in Texas and worth twice as much.
So you're telling me that's worth $48,000?
In that neighborhood.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
All right, thanks for coming in, Mel.
My pleasure.
The lucky finder of the treasure agreed to sell the bar to Rick for just $35,000, and both men walked away happy from the transaction. And that's all we have for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching. We hope to see you next time.